the day to find out who is going to have another opportunity to take a run at the crown, to take a run at the queens of Imperial. And it is no easy battle, but first they've got to get through this one. And I'll be honest, both of these two teams have shown some really strong, aggressive plays over the course of the weekend. South America obviously well known for their aggression, but NAVI with a confidence that very few other teams can match. And now they have to go head-to-head.
I think this one is wide open. Stylistically, I think this favors both snipers, one of which will have a bigger signature than the other on this map as we go through it. Starting with the pistol, of course, D7 will be gifted a P250 so she can duel at a fair range with these USPs. She's the raid boss of the squad, and what a raid boss she has been. She's been a revelation for NAVI in this tournament so far. And I don't think her story is done just yet. Lulaten's putting a smoke down, trying to give herself some cover, but she held on to it a little too long. And now that'll work in favor of NAVI as they take the site, plant the bomb, hold long. And FURIA tries to figure out how to retake. There is a flash in the hands of Iza. Zina using these smokes to close the distance. Once he hiding in that car position. Who peeks first as they allow FURIA to essentially walk into a trap? Look at these headshots though from FURIA. Charging back onto the bomb site. 3-on-2 in favor of NAVI. Make it one. Zina alone now. Drops the car player Viku. Angelka and D7 to find, and they just need to hide. That's a great one-tap, though. No kit for Zina. She has to find Angelka, and it might already be too late. Running out of bullets, running out of time. The pistol goes to NAVI.
It was almost a solid retake attempt there, but NAVI able to just dodge those bullets really, really well. By that time, let that clock run down. And it was another one of those great long takes where we see a little bit of presence. They don't stagger out for too long, though. They realize that they've got some space to work with, and they take that space very, very quickly, get that bomb planted, and set themselves up to stop the retake from happening. Down to the wire, skin of their teeth, but it's NAVI Javelins that take the round and come into this next one with a very strong loadout.
Early tag with the scout from Viku. Sharp already. Going for the rifles over the utility. Dust2 is a great map to do that. Plenty of space. In the earlier matchup, we spoke about Imperial's pacing on the T side. And I did say that there were some comparisons with NAVI. Establishing control. Look how they quietly go as well. FURIA are waiting for the sound cue so Carl can deploy that flashbang. But it'll be the T's who flash first, and they'll be on both sides as well. They will handily deal with that play. Great awareness. They've grown from tournament to tournament. We've watched them grow. We've watched them grow with success. We've watched them grow from failure. Grow with confidence. I love the responses. And Angelka, she is very expressive in the server, out of the server. So when she was asked about playing the South American playstyles, you could see the confidence. She's almost like, what do you mean? their style. Like, we're NAVI. That's the kind of feeling you get from that, and that's the confidence you want to see from a team such as NAVI, who have a good start on this game of Dust2.
FURIA have a chance here to bite back a little bit. You see them taking quite a bit of early map control here. They've already established control down towards long, and they've got some strong presence towards B main. But mid is kind of fair game here, and that's where NAVI have got a lot of presence.
Very quickly establishing control of that short position. You can see Lulaten's is very committed on long. No help anywhere close to her. Zina's got one flash on that A bomb site as well. So I don't think it's going to be going Lulaten's way. She's playing that palm tree position. It's been a classic flash for many years. Palm tree not being solid in earlier versions of the game. You could flash behind it and swing. T's swinging from short, couldn't see it coming. Plenty of cover with the leaves above as well, and there'll be some grenades from NAVI as they make their way for a play into CT spawn, actually. Outmaneuvering FURIA here. 3 of the 5 players over towards A, so there will be trouble on this B bomb site. NAVI so slick with their executions, but they still need to find these kills. Is it with the awkward angles? Won't be enough for Astra. One of many big names for NAVI. It was clinical from Imperial in the last game, and it'll be clinical from NAVI here in this first buy round, setting the pace versus FURIA.
Again, we're seeing so similar to what we saw when NAVI were up against FlyQuest. One of the big things that I spoke about was how beautiful their utility usage is and the follow-up thereon. The fact that they're able to crack so easily into that B site is off the back of some really, really well-placed flashes that allows them to overrun the one player that's on that site. And that forces Lulitens to now have to try to, well, in the moment, it forced her to have to move, and now she realizes there's not too much more to be done in this one, so just hold on to that weapon and look towards the next round. And she's found herself in a nice spot here, because NAVI have gone hunting, but they're not entirely sure where on earth she is, so she'll be able to take this gun into that next round. Not a great one for FURIA to lose. They would have wanted to get a little bit more done in this one, if not actually win the entire round itself, but NAVI continuing to show their dominance here.
3 FURIA players still looking for their first frag in this game. They have not been allowed a warm start. Off to the races very quickly are NAVI. A timeout as FURIA discussed the way forward. First buy round has failed. Although we're not seeing maximum FURIA just yet. AWP's not out just yet, and that is true for NAVI as well. Viku, thanks to that round, and only one rifler surviving, will get more mileage out of that scout. Hanka, 6-1 so far. The can opener of the NAVI Javelin squad. You could really pick any name from NAVI to be a star in any game.
Yeah. I mean, D7 had some phenomenal multi-kills the other day, but Hanka was such a devastating lurk, constantly a thorn in their sides. Viku's AWP was just out of this world. At any given time, as you say, any one of these players could be the star of the round.
Yeah, I think Anna set a very high bar with the AWPing in the previous game, but Viku has been devastating as well. Absolutely devastating. One shot, one kill has been her MO. We'll get to FURIA, but first they need some bigger guns, or maybe they don't. A Deagle's quite a big gun. Car's got a great angle for a second one as well. It seems they have decided to get into this game. That bomb is surrounded. CTs everywhere. There's money for NAVI. Angelica will want to pop some heads. 47 seconds. There's time to get something done here. You can see FURIA trying to play a safe game. That's all the information they need. They do not require a 1v1. Great angles. Angelica still trying to put some work in. From long, Gabs will grab, and there may be some more rifles to collect. FURIA are on the scoreboard.
A great little usage of Car there, allowing her to essentially be bait. And what I did want to say about Car, because this is like 2 or 3 rounds now that she's been sniping with pistols. In the very first round, we saw her get some really clean headshots with the USP. She does the same thing here with the Deagle. And you know when she has the AWP online, she's going to do it with that as well. So it's amazing to see a player that can consistently do things like that. Oh, timing.
Her crosshair was just in exactly the right place.
Yeah.
My word. AWP's out for both squads now. And this is why Dust2 is such an interesting pick. Cara is such an explosive player. This is a playground for the likes of Cara as well. She can absolutely take over this game with an AWP. So we'll find out as this game progresses if this pick is a double-edged sword. I think FURIA will be one of those teams who will be more comfortable with this kind of pacing we see from this particular T side. Smoke up at mid doors at present. Again, it's about identifying or eliminating where that swing player might be. Currently over towards B. Off angles being held by Lulitens. She'll have the sound cues towards short as well, which might pull the Xena back over. But this is standard stuff, establishing control of short. Don't need to have too much of a reaction to it. NAVI still waiting for a play. That sub 40-second mark, the urgency starts to rise now, but that bomb's pretty committed to the A bomb site. They're starting to swing, and those sound cues will be urgent. They'll have to get a rotation in now as Lulitens is unable to get anything done. And now Car is on an island. This is a very difficult position for her to be in. As they close in on her on long, she's got to tap forward just a little bit. She's in so much trouble now. She's got to try and fight her way out of it. She'll drop Astra for her time, for her trouble. That bomb's made it to the bomb site though, 10 seconds on the clock. Molly goes on the wrong side. Hanker plants, 3-on-2 for NAVI. There's an important duel about to happen on long here. Gabs has to win versus Viku, and she will. Now it's game on. Bazina creeping. They don't know where she is, I don't believe. D7 and Hanker, last two standing for NAVI. Bomb ticking. One tap and Gabs is gone. Bazina last to drop, and NAVI are back to winning ways.
Angelica's fancy footwork there, disallowing Lulitens to get that first kill at the bottom of long, really does enable so much for them, because Lulitens, if she gets one there, sure, she definitely gets traded out, but it gives them an opportunity to try to play off of that. Because she dies so early without getting one herself, leaves Car all alone on an island, and yes, Car does get hers, but once she's down, that's both of these players completely taken off the board, and it all comes down to D7. Once again, a star. All right, Car. A little bit cheeky with that one, but that's great. Get Viku off the board, give yourselves a number advantage, punish that attempt at space taking, and NAVI have to re-question what their approach was going to be.
Exactly what they needed there. Bazina's in trouble here. She's lost the angle from the short boost, and there's surely no way she gets away from this. Doesn't quite work the same way as that angle on Nuke Secret does. Managed to slip by her, and that makes things awkward because we've got Angelica coming through long as well. She's still respecting that smoke as these CTs are in such an awkward spot, but they're both still standing. Warp is starting to rotate over as well. 3-on-3. With a very interesting scenario. How long does Angelica wait? Because it's a 3-on-2 in the meantime while she tries to keep an eye on a rotation. She needs to get involved soon. Watching her back as Car's watching hers as well. All looking for the lurkers as Astra has an off angle, a little burst, and she'll be forced back. No one on the bomb site then for these T's. Angelica's drops, and they should have some cover maybe for this bomb defuse to happen. Indeed they will. That is clean from the CTs. FURIA fighting back early on.
There's the value of Lulitens that Newt was talking about a little bit earlier on as well. They play off of each other so well and so snappy with those kills. Taking out, was it Hanker down bottom long? Hanker or Angelica? Taking her out after shots have already been fired. So your position has already been known, but they haven't managed to take you down. So you're able to turn around, get that kill, then finding out that there's a crossfire towards short and being able to play off of that as well. Just really, really great stuff here. A beautiful retake from FURIA.
That's not an easy one to achieve.
Yeah.
That was so awkward for them, not having complete control of long. Yes, they had a smoke up, but they didn't have position to see if anybody was there or not. Having been compromised on short, caught completely by surprise. That's an expensive lesson learned with that incendiary, but one they got away with, which is good for them. They are in the fight early. This is going to be a very interesting matchup indeed. 2-4 in favor of NAVI Javelins. Viku will be on the scout once again. We'll see if she's got the headshot flicks. Car with the AWP and a very good spawn towards long. However, no one is headed in her direction. Bazina hopping up short. And D7 is popped early towards B. That happened last time as well, but it was Car who got that early pick. So NAVI are losing players with those aggressive plays towards the B bomb site. FURIA are ready for the fight. These two teams are well balanced. This is a really good matchup for a semi-final or a final. Angelica deploying some smoke grenades towards the speed bomb site, cutting off the choke points, and Hanker's right place, right time. The trade fraggers are surely here eventually. Isa finds two though and keeps her team in the fight. Woman advantage FURIA. Long rotation though for Lulitens. She's one of the two players with kits at present. What util do they have for a potential retake? They've got a lot of junk to throw at this bomb site. That incendiary is going to be very important. They've got HEs for the car position or elsewhere. They'll have to decide where it goes. You can see Angelka creeping through the halls as well. Luluten's timing might just be good. There's the incendiary. Now Luluten starts to make her way through, as does Bazina. The flashes are up, Luluten's is down, the trades are here, as is Car. That bomb is ticking though. Bazina's the one that needs to get on that bomb. Can she get there in time? It's gonna be a close one. Car better make a run for it just in case.
Oh.
There it is, FURIA.
Goodness.
Reduced the deficit to 1.
These retakes are out of this world. And the really hectic thing about it is just how stressful they are. Like, you can feel the adrenaline start to pump. You're like, come on guys, there's like 2 seconds before you need to be on that bomb. And they are so cool, calm, and collected. Us viewers, we start to feel the stress, but they feel none of it. They know what they're capable of. They know the timings.
That multi-frag from Iza is everything. The team rotating had the tools to get the job done, but she made it that way with her hold on the B bomb site. That was a big play from her. It's so hard to retake that B bomb site, but she got more frags than you could reasonably ask for in that scenario. So props to her for that. There does appear to be a plan here for NAVI. Again, a team of their caliber with this amount of utility in an eco round shows clear intention. There always should be, if you can afford even this amount. If you can close the distance, if you can get those Tech 9s within striking range, then anything is possible. But again, FURIA are ready for the challenge. They are a strong team in their own right, and they are not afraid of anyone. There is so much talent on this squad. NAVI trying to collapse on this bomb site then. Here is the next challenge for FURIA. They've got Gabs at the back. They'll start to ring the bells to these players. And they will survive the test, no problem. All 5 survive. Fantastic when you're on the CT side especially.
Great turnaround from FURIA, and I've loved, one of the things we've spoken about is a team that's confident is going to make confident plays. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to try to take that space, and if you allow them to do it, well, they're just going to keep doing it. And what I've really enjoyed with FURIA is that when NAVI do that, they're very often in a position to kind of shut that down and to just say, no, you are not going to be allowed to do this. And eventually that's going to potentially cause NAVI to have to stall a little bit. And we're seeing it. No, we're not. They're just carrying on.
Great utility from FURIA here and response after the frag as well. I feel like there's a line in the sand, and there's few teams on one side who can survive a pistol split of a bomb site as FURIA did without losing a single player. Sometimes you will, but there's a bunch of teams, a select few, who are able to handle and control a scenario like that. Both of these teams I would put in there. But it makes such a difference. Oh, Gabs gets 1. The team kill will make it 2 after all. Hanka making sure Gabs is dead. 3 on 2 now. Car's scope will drop Astra. Hanka carrying the bomb. She has time for a clutch. There's over a minute on the clock. If she can catch 1 off guard, then it is really game on. She might have some sound cues as well. There's the frag she was looking for. Now, which way does she go? Heading straight over to that A-bomb site. You could pick any of these players for a clutch scenario, and you'd be in for a good time. Car and Iza, though, they will be up to the challenge. We'll see if they choose to move together. Is it the Orpa who swings first for the AK to clean up? She's got the right idea as well, Hanka, trying to disengage, but they are ready for her. Car swinging wide, Iza cleaning up as it should be, as it is for FURIA, who now take the lead on Dust2.
I was just thinking, Hanka actually managed to clutch quite a few 1vx's yesterday. So I was waiting to see, can she do it again? Can she do it against a team the caliber of FURIA? But they play off of each other really well. Car has learnt in her role as the Orpa, not only is she meant to hold angles and hit those shots, but also every now and then she can be bait. She was doing it in one of our earlier rounds. She does it there as well. A little bit of ducking and diving, jumping around, and allowing the rifle on Iza to get the cleanup kill. It's perfect, it's cohesion, it's teamwork, and it's exactly what FURIA need to to secure themselves a final. Potentially, they've managed to claw their way back in. They've given themselves the lead here, and there's a possibility for that momentum to just kind of keep rolling in their favor. But for NAVI, a moment now of respite just to have a conversation and discuss what FURIA are doing. Because let's face it, FURIA have started to put a stop to everything NAVI have attempted to do ever since they got their first proper buyout.
Is on double figures, 10 frags for her. Such important frags as well. If she doesn't deliver on that B bomb site, it might change the face of this half. NAVI with the pistols now. And again, they said that Luluten's, I think they said it is the best player in the region, if not one of. But on LAN, in the finals, she'll have some work to do to beat the likes of Iza. I think Hanka's my favorite player on NAVI.
Fair.
However, D7 in this tournament is making a significant challenge in that regard. Oh, this is harassment. Oh, please continue this. Oh. Another ticket has been selected. There she go back for the other one. She does. Oh, that's such a big headshot for Car. Oh, you love to see it. She is an animal with that AWP. A shooting gallery for FURIA, but a bomb plant will actually be denied by a flying Bazina.
It's a great round there, and one of the things I wasn't going to comment on it at the time, but Gab's playing a very familiar position with the AUG over on that B site. I love that. Teams obviously should be aware of it, should be reading into it, but she's still able to get hers, so that makes me really happy. Going to be looking for that in later rounds. But of course, with this having been a bit more of an economic recession type of round for NAVI, we weren't expecting too much to come out of it. Now, however, actual weaponry online, and they're very aware of that AUG as they send a little bit of presence towards B.
Love these angles from Car. She is so dangerous. She might be the most dangerous woman on the server. And that is not easy with these two lineups. 6-4 now for FURIA. Definitely have a plan. There's a lot of different ways those can be used. Towards the site for a bomb plant, breaking smokes to stop the T's from crossing. Number of different ideas. But again, it's great to see the detail. And with the level these two teams are playing at, there's definitely things for other squads to learn as well. Observing the confident approach from both. NAVI establishing presence. And this will force the utility as well. This is forcing FURIA to dump those grenades, which NAVI might otherwise run into. But what's the final plan? We haven't seen too much targeting, I don't think, from NAVI of these mid players just yet. Again, D7 having a look. They put a lurk smoke into that B bomb site, so they're threatening both areas. Now, what's the read that you make if you're FURIA? Smokes on A, smokes towards B, D7 creeping. Showing some more presence. That has pulled Bazina away from mid, and as that happens, guess who's coming through mid? It's NAVI. A very solid split. Gabs with that AUG is just waiting. Bazina and Lulutens are activating, and she comes out at the right time. It's a monstrous hold from FURIA so far, who will find a 7th round on the CT side.
I mean, that's devastating for NAVI. Look at them, they're so happy. And then that round goes, I think, better than they could have even asked for. And I think that a lot of that comes down to, so we see a lot of utility getting burned very early on. And so NAVI have a lot less to work with when they finally do go in for that execute. Mid is left pretty open. And you've got one player tucked who's able to get so much. Meanwhile, you've got a flank that's come out all the way from A main. Car does things like that. I mean...
Car is great. And so is that spray from Iza. NAVI trying to make the play with the flashes, but Iza's in the right place with the right angles and the right gun. A formidable opponent in FURIA. I don't think any of these picks are guaranteed for either team. $500 HP FURIA versus D7 and Astra. Stylistically, this is just so good for Car. Dust2 is a playground for a sniper. D7 and Astra have a combined $0 in the bank. No need to reload just yet for Car. Nothing doing, nothing being given, no inches for NAVI. That is a very solid CT defense from FURIA, who lead by 4 at halftime. That the place to get into that final, it's going to be a scrap between these two. Viku's going to have big shoes to fill in this second half, because Car was a cannon on wheels in that first half, and we didn't really mention Viku too much, I don't feel like, but the AWP is going to need to get working for NAVI on this second half when it comes. First though, come the pistols. NAVI 4 rounds behind Viku with the Julies, just can't quite connect with anything. And that B-bomb site's been taken immediately. There's no retake util here for Na'Vi. But if you can swing fast enough and land a headshot, maybe you don't need util. One in the side, that's D7, of course it is. She's got so much clutch in her. I heard you were trying to bomb plant, how about no, says D7. And Gabs is stuck top mid. She was supposed to be cutting off rotation. Instead, she's the last one to fall. D7 is an enigma.
It's such a good read from Na'Vi as well to make sure that that B-side is that little bit more reinforced. It's such a popular one to try to take on a pistol round. And with limited utility, they know that they can play a little bit further back towards mid. And that's where D7 plays from. She's playing from behind the double doors here. She's getting all these kills on the cross, popping heads and not allowing that bomb to make its way in towards the site. And when it finally does make its way onto the side, she's ready to swing. Absolute demon here from her, and a much needed pistol round does she bring into Navi's control.
It's a huge win for them. Straight onto the rifles, as we saw from FURIA. Very dry round for FURIA. No util, no P250s. Biku trying to race away, but getting peppered like a steak from that Glock. 5-on-4 then. FURIA have no Kevlar though, but they're finding awkward situations and they've managed to drop a second player. Astra back and forth around the pillar, but the damage will be finished now. 2 players, that's great for FURIA. I don't think they bought a single thing and they made them spend basically $12,000, so that's huge.
Yeah, there was an attempt there to just try and buy some time for the lurking player that had made it all the way up long to maybe get in behind and get a backstab, maybe take advantage of the chaos. But Na'Vi not going to be allowing that to happen, and instead they'll take out those last 2 players. But for FURIA, as you mentioned, they spent nothing in that previous round. They come in now with a full buy, everything to play with. But can they convert?
Good hold from Hanka so far. 17 kills for her. I wanted to say maybe this is where she comes to life. What does that mean, 50? Like, she's been putting in work already. It's Fiku with 3, who's probably been waiting for these CT angles, but hasn't got her desired firearm just yet. FURIA establishing control of that short position. Angelka in situ on long. FURIA waiting to set up their game. They've got 2 flashes. Hopes and dreams. That HE could be a little bit too late. Let's see. That'll do some good chunks to Car. That's quite a handy smoke as well. Cuts the sight in half, essentially. And it will leave FURIA in a stalemate. But these AKs are quite dangerous. Car keeping an eye on things in that short position for now. And Na'Vi haven't rotated just yet from that B position. They're still wondering as Car starts to creep through. Be it an AWP or an AK, she is dangerous. Bizina clearing the bomb site, and Angelka's got to fall back for the retake. It's D7 and Astra with the flashbangs. FURIA finding a way to make things work for them. This is very awkward for Na'Vi now. We look to swing on this short position. Bizina looks away. The 2 Ts may just be able to hold this. How does D7 solve this puzzle? Even for her, this might be too much. In the meantime, Angelka's creeping on the site. D7 trying to entertain maybe, as it's a 1v1 on the A bomb site. If Angelka can find where that last T is, she has a kit as well. 1v2. There's no time to do this. Surely they start to come her way, but they'll delay her from defusing that bomb, and that's all that matters. 9-6 FURIA.
Great round from Bizina, just in general there. But what I loved about what that execute did, that wall of smokes, not only does it allow them to lurk all the way up short and get a lot of space in towards the bomb site, but it completely redraws the battle lines as well. You're kind of changing the shape of the space, and when you can take advantage of that, you just have so much to work with. And Car lurking up through mid as well, getting that kill there and then able to slip away. FURIA do so much in that round. There's so many moving parts and they come together like music.
Anubis is a bit of a question mark for me as far as FURIA are concerned. I mean, as far as NAVI are concerned, excuse me. So I do wonder how urgent this map is for them. Now, if they win Oh, actually, this is a full force buy from NAVI. They're in even more trouble than I realized. Death by paper cuts in round 16. They have nothing to offer FURIA. It is very cold outside, and FURIA are trying to show NAVI the door.
Weather outside is frightful indeed, and Viku just going to have to be forced to try to hold on to the scout. Try to be able to get something on the exit, but no, now they know where she is, so they're just going to circumvent her entirely, not give her the satisfaction, and they will come out the end of this round with 5 players still left standing. Reinvest will be minimal for FURIA, but for NAVI, as you mentioned, they'd put a lot into this. They gambled so much on the back of this round succeeding, and it slips away from them. That's going to be double digits here for FURIA. And they were kind of on the back foot at the start of this map, and things were looking like it might just be NAVI running away with it. But once they started to find their footing a little bit, once they started to get used to that pacing, remember, South America is the aggressive region. Fast and in your face is literally their home turf. So for NAVI to be bringing that to them, you got to realize that that is what, it's their bread and butter. It's what they know. It's what they live for.
Car is just in control. It's actually Hanka who's top of the kill board, though. Still with 17. Bazino close behind with 15. Likely to achieve more, as there isn't much for NAVI to offer in this one. A very dire situation for them in the second half of Dust2. I'm not sure if Viku's had a sniff of an AWP in this half. It's just been rough round after rough round still with 3 kills. I think she started this half with 3 kills.
Yep. Just hasn't really had an opportunity to shine. Hasn't had a chance to do much.
(11 to 6) then. FURIA are in the driving seat of a race car.
Seems we will have done a little bit of damage there. So we'll take a look to see how much NAVI were able to take into the next round, because obviously that can make a big difference here for just kind of long term. But long term isn't looking so long anymore, as FURIA now hit 11. They're that much closer to closing it out. So for NAVI, yes, every little bit counts, but it's more than that now. Just doing a little bit isn't going to be enough. They need rounds on the board. They can't afford to lose another one. Another loss
Yeah, they really can't.
It puts them in a tight spot economically, and how do you come back from that?
I don't see it. If they lose one of the next 2 rounds, I don't see FURIA allowing them a way back in. But let's see, still no sniper. They just can't afford it. I don't know if Viku's had it. I don't think she's had an AWP this whole half.
She hasn't.
I mean, they've barely had a proper full buy. Credit to FURIA for that, though. Never getting started properly on this half so far. But hey, if they're victorious, maybe they'll take cars. Still the confidence to play their game. Astra top mid. Oh, Car reads it and tags her as well. Hanka dropped in the meantime, and now suddenly it feels like the CTs are the one who are being surrounded. They are by FURIA. They're just so strong. 3 on 2, shutting down the plays from NAVI. The hubris to bring the fight to FURIA has been punished. But it's still winnable for NAVI. D7 and Angelica together. Not physically. D7 is far away. If she has to hold that site, don't count her out. Kara and Izza are quite tagged as well. They could be dropped very easily indeed, and that's the big frag they needed, which will encourage FURIA. But how far will D7 go? They've got to keep the comms tight. They've got to keep the comms active and let them know. Let each other know what's happening or what isn't happening. Footstep heard. D7 has to raise the alarm now. Angelica has the flash. He can jump throw it if it can come. Maybe it's not needed, though. D7's dancing, she's shimmying left and right, delivers the kills she needs to, as she often does.
When D7 is in that clutch, you cannot count them out entirely. A great position from her as well. And the fact that she's able to isolate those 1v1s is also so important. There's an attempt on the re-swing to kind of crouch your way through, spray through, and hope that it does connect. But D7 is that much better in the moment when it counts. This was an important one for NAVI, but I liked what they did. They took the aggression to FURIA. This is what Tilda was saying on the desk as well. You got to fight fire with fire, and that's what they did, and it worked.
Viku has an orb. Finally, she has something. Long is taken. Viku in that short position has rifle support. Grenades are out. That will allow Hanka to get to work. They are hungry for these frags, NAVI, and they are coming back. But the bomb's heading towards that bomb site. 3 on 4 for FURIA. There's a molly. If they can get it towards short, that could be so important. It smokes up, though. Nothing doing with the HE. Ooh, oh boy, they were trying. I think they were trying to get that Molotov onto the bomb site, but it just bounced off the wall, just clipped the wall and went in the completely wrong direction. Either way, bomb planted. FURIA have got good positions. D7 creeping slowly as the bulk of NAVI come in from elsewhere. Smokes everywhere. Diffuse kits for only 2 players. Lula-10s and Izza remain, and they are quickly dispatched off. D7, of course, and Viku with those final frags, and it must feel good for Viku to get a kill with an orb.
Yeah, she's starting to get herself back into the board here and back into a position where we're going to have to sit up and take note, because she did finally get the orb in her hands, and we know how devastating that can be. It almost feels like FURIA needed to close it out before that could happen, but a bit of a stumbling block, and again, it's another round where NAVI take the fight to FURIA in mid. They don't allow FURIA to take that space completely uncontested, and that's what they needed to be doing from the very beginning. But is it too little too late now? FURIA back down onto a pistol, so it's a great opportunity for NAVI to keep clawing their way back in with the rounds.
If they can stop FURIA from getting bomb plants, then these rounds should be a fair bit easier for them. Gabs and Lulu-10s remain. Bomb still in the hands of FURIA. But again, with only 2 plays left, how do they find range, close range on these NAVI players? Hanka moves to 19 kills. I've got to say, though, the impact frags we see from D7, what an immense pickup for the squad. She might turn out to be their best player. Suddenly it feels a lot closer. And a round like this, if they can finish it with all 5 standing, will be so important. They need to build some cash in case something goes wrong in the rounds to come. And there we go. All 5 survive for NAVI, and the deficit reduces to 2.
The comeback is on. NAVI not willing to let go just yet. You kind of mentioned it as well. Anubis could be a potential question mark. They haven't had the best streak on it, the best results, so they need to give themselves a little bit of padding just in case. And with FURIA pushing them this hard on this map, on their map pick, they can't afford to take any liberties. So it's important here that they keep this close, but they make it decisive, and that is exactly what they need to start the round.
Yeah, and you can see why they got so much mileage keeping Viku off that AWP as well. Long has been taken, however. Kar's got an AWP of her own. Definitely capable of bringing advantages back to FURIA. But NAVI will let them sit in that position. No need to challenge it. Can't plant the bomb in pit. Looking for information elsewhere will leave Angelka on her lonesome for a while. However, often as you see these long takes, it's not often too prompt an approach to that bomb site. And now Astra's in position. NAVI can get a little closer to Angelka. Hanka's got a flash that can go behind Angelka if needed, and I think it might be needed. Not really in a position to swing, though. She's playing around these smoke grenades. Smokes are up, Hanka is down, Angelka trying to survive now. Things become awkward. Viku is nearby with that AWP though, which announces itself, dropping Bazina. Lulaten's in the smoke. Car with the AWP, behind that car position. Angelka now waiting for the last one. Lulaten's in the clutch, 1v3 made 2. That was so close for Viku. Going to collect the bomb, and she might have a chance to clutch this one. Both CTs with kit, so reposition with the AWP for Viku. Lulaten's knows Long could be compromised. Pushing forth now to try and find a fight, hopping up, but taken down by none other than D7, a common hero for Navi.
Caught in a movement and unfortunately just doesn't have the time to adjust. It was so close, but Navi continue their dominance. Look at that game face. I think Viku's got my favorite game face. When she is online, it is honestly terrifying. And I think, you know, for FURIA, they had such a strong, dominant lead, and now it's starting to kind of slip away from them. And I almost want to see them take a moment, have a little chat, figure out how they're going to get around this, because Navi have stopped them at every point of ingress, whether it's denying them the aggression that they've become so well known for, or whether it's just kind of holding those angles and stopping them from finding any space even later on in the round. They're really, really struggling to get anything done. We need to see a change-up come through. Otherwise, this could just be Navi running away with it.
Full focus from Viku. Still looking to establish her name on the server. Catching up though. 8 for 15 now. Angelka, they're lining up very nicely in that choke point, but they'll only get one from it, and now Hanka is racing to get around that corner and barely survives. She knew how urgent it was for her to stay alive. Does Gabs take the risk now? This isn't a full buy from FURIA, but they certainly have a chance. They've got position, they've got long and short. Somehow dodging the damage from that grenade. Navi have extremely awkward positions for this retake. Very awkward positions. This could be where they capitulate. Gabs and Carr making things harder. Navi have lost so much position. This round is surely done. Desperate time for Astra. There's just too many people there walking to their demise. And there will be upgrades for FURIA.
What a round to do it in as well, and I love the way that they did that, right? You get super explosive in long, and that can be very dangerous because Navi have had pretty solid control of long for a lot of these rounds, but the fact that they get that first kill, they've got those MAC 10s, which gives them that little bit of extra space as well, so you can get really up close and personal, plus they'd sent Gabs on kind of a longer rotate up through short, so they had established crossfires, they'd established position and control, and so for Navi, now they need to regain that control, but they find themselves out in the open. Sure, you're hiding behind a smoke, but the smoke only covers you from one direction, and with short compromised, there was no real place for them to hide. There's the attempt from Hanka to do the jump up bomb denial, but the shots don't connect, so the bomb gets planted, and then the race is on, and the race is lost. Map point here for FURIA on Navi's map pick. They've done a little bit of the damage to the economy, but not much to make it too difficult for Navi here. And with Viku still having the AWP online, it is doable.
That was worst case scenario positionally for a retake. Worst case scenario. But they've got good util for this round. Navi, swing and a miss from Viku. Iza forcing the issue, smokes are up, but they'll defend for the time being, and out shotgun mode for Viku. She's got sound because she knows one's right, but next to her, but somehow misses a shot. I think she started strafing first. She has to land these shots now. Down to the pistol, Gabs is dropped. Bazina and Carr remain. This is absolute chaos. Bazina now the last one standing, but she will be denied, and Navi stay in the fight for Dust2. Nervous territory on B, but somehow they are still in this.
I'm wondering if Iza didn't know where that molly came from or if she was expecting her teammates to be behind her, because she doesn't actually check that car position. She just keeps running forward, kind of tunneling into the player that's on site. And because of that, she's out in the open and D7 is able to just mow through her. Maybe she thought the flash was going to be enough to give her the space to get on, but once she's taken out, the rest of FURIA are so staggered behind, they can't catch up and the site just cracks open.
I don't know where anything came from in that round. That was chaos. And FURIA may be looking for something similar. D7, if that smoke can go up quick, then the pre-fire is attempted, but D7's just too good! 3 kills, and Astra's here to save the day. The cavalry is here, and D7, that's absolutely unstoppable. Best player on the team, that's a fact. She is unreal on that bomb site.
She's playing that anchor like an absolute demon. No one is getting past her. She is the gatekeeper. She is Gandalf at the bridge. It's just not happening. That Balrog is not making its way on to site. Now we find ourselves in our second overtime, not only of the day, but of the entire ESL Impact Season 6 Finals weekend. I wouldn't have had it any other way. Our semi-final needed to be close. It needed to be hotly contested. We go again.
"21 frags for D7. I'm running out of words to describe the caliber of player she continues to prove to be round after round. And it's not just the numbers, it's the impact of these frags as well. The weight of these frags is colossal. Viku drops Lulitens. Great patience with a blind shot there. FURIA need to dig deep now. NAVI have come to life. They look towards B, where D7 lies. Rather you than me. Astra, straight through the smoke there. Beautiful timing. They are neutralizing FURIA, stopping them from making their plan comfortably. D7 on the B bomb site again, buying time for the rotation. Just staying alive is such a problem. A menace on the B bomb site. She understands the mission and delivers time and time again.
And this is now becoming dire straits for FURIA because they need to get rounds on this T side. Because in overtime, Viku's going to have an AWP in every single round, regardless of how the round goes.
Look how happy she is. She's so chill. She's a monster. So many rounds. Multi-frags, but not just that. Again, disengaging, staying alive is so important for that B player to just be present so her team can rotate in and play off of her. And she does all of the above so well. And then has just got a giant smile for the camera in between.
Well, she has every reason to. Absolute phenomenal player. But as I was saying, so for FURIA, this T side is going to be so important because they need to have a few rounds so that when we swap again and Car can get the AWP in her hands, they're going to have some sort of a buffer to work with. So they need to make sure that they're actually collecting rounds. Otherwise, this OT could go on forever. And for Viku now, with so many opportunities with AWP in her own hands, slowly getting her way back up the scoreboard, FURIA definitely going to be feeling the pressure.
No challenge on long early. See NAVI repositioning now. Viku heading towards the B side of mid. She wants to get involved. It must be so frustrating for FURIA. The amount of times they have targeted the B bomb site and D7 has denied them. Again, these nuisance HE grenades will start to stream over. Astra collects another one. And FURIA don't yet know where Viku is lurking. All they know is that these blasted grenades keep coming towards short. And that has to be a hard read. They must know that FURIA like to lurk in this position. So we've got 2 players on site. Hanko's got a flash, so she can go for that palm tree swing when the pressure starts to rise. See, Astra is biding her time, waiting for them to come closer. Angelka's got some util as well. Here comes the swing, but Isra and Gabs are better for it. Angelka drops also. That leaves D7 and VQ double OP out of position. There's much work to be done here for the CT squad, and Car will make it even harder. Plenty of util, nothing that D7 can really do on this occasion.
Car's dynamism is such a thorn in the side for Na'Vi as well. They never really know where to expect her, and coupled with the fact that she plays such an aggressive AWP so often, I mean, for her to be the one on flank watch, it just gets a little bit crazy. It was a great take onto the site as well. Winning out those duels, it's such an important part of it. And it feels like taking long control has been, or not necessarily long control itself, but the pushes in towards that A site, it seems to be where they're getting a little bit more of the value that they would want. B has been so difficult, and now Lulitens will open things up here with yet another first blood, and FURIA have a chance to take this to 14.
These teams are so well matched. FURIA fighting back. Their turn to set the pace now as VQ looks for something but just isn't being offered anything. She's so hungry to find an engagement. But FURIA will do it on their terms. That was expensive for Rizza, down to 68 HP. NAVI active towards long. They're not wanting to wait. Now with Gabs lurking in that B position, there are options in both directions. Anchor drops by Lulitens, and maybe that will encourage the A play as she has patiently dismantled NAVI towards long. VQ now. She knows she's there. 2 versus 5. That is a very quick frag. Now, I was going to say, if FURIA continue towards short, there's a chance that there are more AWP frags here, but of course, they will race. Worst case scenario, it's a 4v1 on that B-bomb site. Car's got the angle. A nice flick onto VQ, but she's still standing. In the meantime, the bomb site will be taken, but D7 is still alive, and that might just be a problem. Pot shots through the smoke on the doors from VQ as that time is low. Doesn't get lucky, however. There's an incendiary for VQ. There's no flash, though. Behind big box goes the molly. Pre-fire from D7 will be punished. That'll make things a lot more difficult towards the end of that round. So 14-13 it will be as we switch sides.
That was a great one as well. Again, Car kind of playing that gatekeeper, that lurk defender, and she buys a lot of time. She stalls out the reinforcements from coming through. It's not enough to save her life, but it's enough to give her team the time they need to get that bomb down and get into a good position. And they pull out a lot of that early utility. But again, Lulitens, her impact cannot be overstated in this because she gets that opening kill and then she hangs around and she waits for the aggressive push out of long for that potential lurk to come through. And the fact that she gets both of those before she's eventually traded out is so instrumental. And I think that's what Carl was talking about when she said that Izza is the best player in South America, because it's not just about having the highest number on the board, but it's about the impact that you bring in those rounds. So even if it's just 1 kill, even if it's just a trade, or if it's 3 kills that enables you, that gives you a springboard, it's Lulitens that's providing that for the team.
VQ's got a great spawn for a shot, but not quite hitting the mark. And these opportunities are so urgent for both squads. A missed opportunity may lead to regret. But with the understanding of how many people it takes to take long, I mean, this is part of, I think, the HEs here from FURIA. They know they've given the info that there's probably a 3-person take towards A, so if they want to go for that fast play towards B, they can eat those HE grenades. They have been used to good effect. They are really slowing down the response Na'Vi might have to that take of long from the CTs. Really nice detail there from FURIA. Cars in an awkward position now, but she does have some cover from a teammate as Na'Vi try to adjust. There is a dance being had by both these squads, but it's Na'Vi who will have the numbers to abuse. FURIA have lost their position on the A bomb site now, which means Lulitenz has to gamble away from that long position. There is no lurker there, but she doesn't know that. Delivering the first frag, D7, that's a big one to drop. Viku, though, will get revenge, and now there's no one on long for FURIA. Still rotating from the B bomb site. Astra's got a good angle, spots the silencer, but can't win the duel. Game on for FURIA. 1 round to the good already, and that could increase. Viku starts to rattle off some shots now. And that makes it 3, all with kits for FURIA. Moving through, but again, these positions are not so ideal. Viku with a third now, and Angelka with the last 2 as Na'Vi tie the score.
You cannot allow Na'Vi to get that plant because that turns them into defenders, and that is where Viku finds so much of her value, just holding down an angle, holding down a sight line, and once you step into her crosshairs, you get deleted. And that's such a good round from Na'Vi because they show that little bit of presence over towards A, meanwhile the stacks over towards B. They show a lot of presence towards mid as if they're going to push that way, and at that point they've pulled all of the rotations from FURIA, so that site is free for the taking.
That was a really sick round from both teams, I think. In how FURIA know where their weakness is, and they're punishing the attempts to exploit that with the HEs, with the smoke grenades and so on, and Na'Vi are forced to go to plan B, go to plan C. You see the depth of both teams and the spatial awareness as well, showing how strong they are. That dance shows why they're so well suited to fight each other tooth and nail. Viku's caught up with her teammates now in the fragging department. Rattled off a few in that round. Will it be a dry peak? There are 3 of them here, but Lulitenz has got such a good angle. What a trade from Astra. That's the bomb spotted on the kill cam. They know FURIA know. FURIA know where the bomb is, and they can respond to that in the short term. But there is time for options, and Na'Vi are positioned for options. They can punish those rotations. They've got 2 players by those mid doors. Obviously, short needs to be secured. FURIA see no one there. Na'Vi holding position for now. For all FURIA know, they could be rotating that player. FURIA taking a gamble, trying to rotate. D7 trying to punish in vain. Gabs drops her. But where is that bomb? That's the question for FURIA. How many players can they hold on that A bomb site? Smokes are all over the shop as well. And now Angelka starts to creep, as is Gabs. Very proactive, both squads. Lots of urgency. Angelka dropped. Numbers dwindling for Na'Vi. 12 seconds to get on that bomb site, and Bazina will have the luxury of these angles. Game point for FURIA.
For the second time in this series, FURIA find themselves on map point. 1 round away from stealing their opponent's map pick, but Na'Vi have been in this situation before. They took it into overtime. They can do it again. This was a great round from FURIA as well, just constantly a thorn in Navi's side. And Lulitenz also playing very dynamic towards the A side. Never really in the same position over and over. That's why they don't check for her there. She's never been there. But this time she is. And yes, she does get traded, but as you mentioned, she spots that that's where the bomb is, and that allows the rotation to come through so quickly for FURIA. Na'Vi don't have the time to disengage.
High pressure for Na'Vi once again as both teams fight for control. FURIA have long. Zena won't fight too hard for that short position. Is now repositioning, leaving Lulitenz in situ with yet another annoying angle. Minute 20 on the clock. I don't believe Car's rattled off a shot yet, so that will be a question mark for Na'Vi. Do they try to fish for a kill through mid? Plenty of time to do so. Short control established. How do FURIA respond? Is it with the palm tree flash? Quite a few flashes here for FURIA, which will be strong for the defense, depending on who's carrying them. Again, there's that lurk smoke. D7 will be in position to cut off rotation, but it is 3 players over towards A for FURIA. 30 seconds, and that position for Bazina could be absolutely devastating for Na'Vi. 2 frags and plenty of info. Izza lies in wait. Lulu 10's starting to make her way forward, and she's ready for these angles. Shadow advantage as well for FURIA, and surely this is the end of the line. Almost 10 seconds for Astra, and she's got less than 10 HP in them to lose their pick and win their opponent's pick. They're that level of team. You do feel that one day either of these teams could be hoisting a trophy. Question is, who will have the chance this weekend? D7, of course, to open up the proceedings and get the 3rd kill as well. NAVI opting for the T side then, where they are so good. A promising start for them, but the round's not finished just yet. Nice headshot from Izza. So much talent on this server. We're asking a lot of Lulu 10s here, though. 1v4. Nice snap there. Might be in consideration to save this Kevlar, but she seems quite committed to it. Oh, she's close. You want to just get behind that pillar. Ready to find more headshots, but on this occasion, she will be denied. D7 off to the races immediately. 3 frags in a pistol round. Does she ever stop?
Certainly makes you wonder what might have happened had Lulu 10s had a place to get that reload off. And I like that Carl was playing that advanced position there with the dualies. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to get one, as you said, right? D7, an absolute force to be reckoned with, just runs straight in onto the site, overruns Carl, and makes it more than doable for NAVI. So they'll snag that first pistol round. A nice solid buy to come through here. If you're going to go for the gamble, obviously makes a lot of sense. If they do hit this site, then they should be able to get 1 or 2 kills for their troubles, hopefully. And if not, then they can move as a death ball, try and bring things back under their control. But NAVI seem almost aware of this as the bomb is postured towards B. They've only got 2 players looking for information on A.
Time for the MAC-10s to sweep up, or MAC-10 and the Galil behind. I can't decide if I want to download D7's config or Car's config. Config and crosshair settings. That'll make me a star.
That's how that works, James.
I'm sure that will be enough.
Yeah, that and the skins, and then you're off to the races.
I'm good for skins.
Oh, okay.
All right, FURIA. It's only 2 rounds, so nothing to be too concerned about just yet. Let's see what we do now with guns in our hands. Unfortunately, haven't been able to rake up any excess cash to get that AWP out early. Would have been a tough feat, but it would have been fabulous nonetheless.
So interesting on Ancient how often both teams will be throwing grenades at the same places, but we've got to keep it simple, execute from NAVI, but around these smokes, the CTs can find some frags also. Hanker and VQ opening up the site, but there's more work to be done, and it will be. Car dropped, Bazina still standing. They need to keep these CTs poor. This could be free for Bazina through the smoke. Trying to isolate these fights. Molotov deployed, VQ forced away from her team. Gabs and Bazina take control. Vika's got 11 HP. All of a sudden, FURIA are in control. Gabs has got all kinds of utility as well. If she's got angles to throw it, it's dangerous. Does VQ have a line for the bomb? Oh, she's so close to catching Gabs. Down to the pistol now, but Bazina is well equipped to deal with her. And FURIA come back quick in these maps.
This is such a great place to turn the momentum back around and to retake control. And I love how Bazina plays that because she has a chance to spray through the smoke and deny the bomb, but that's going to give away her position, and it's not going to give her teammates time to get into their own position. So instead, she allows that to happen. She repositions, and then she's able to play off of that once she has some kind of reinforcements. And on that moment, I felt like Calm maybe gets a little bit too over-eager, doesn't have any sort of a crossfire set up, and so she gets run over very quickly. But it's Bazina who kind of saves the day there in that round and ensures that FURIA are able to bring that back into their control. Great round.
Big entry from VQ, and that's the VQ you want to see. She'll need to be that aggressive, that present for NAVI when you've got Kara on the other side. VQ has kept off the AWP for so long on Dust2, and if they can do the same to FURIA, that will certainly help. Still posted up. Car dropped. Things continuing well. Look how they're just so poised, they're so ready. And that's the T-side Na'Vi we're always talking about. They anticipate your responses and punish you for trying.
So much of that is like Viku's confidence as well, because she gets the shot. She doesn't have to reposition. She doesn't have to run away or go anywhere else. She's going to hold that angle. She's going to hold that line. Because eventually somebody is going to be brave enough to re-peek her. And she's just going to take that. Thank you very much. So after losing a round, Na'Vi swiftly bring things back to a realm of comfortability. Xena can't even get herself an exit there. Na'Vi come through with 4 players left alive. They've reset any sort of loss bonus here. So again, FURIA are going to be in a bit of a tight spot in the next few rounds.
It's exactly the way Na'Vi want it to be. It's a long road ahead, though. Still very early here on Anubis. But that's Na'Vi you want to see. I want to see all 3 maps here. I want to see down to the wire between these squads. I want to see individual brilliance, more of that. We saw plenty on that Dust2. Very engaging first map. How much do these teams want it? I like the test of Na'Vi losing their map pick. You know, with the overarching story over multiple tournaments of second places for Na'Vi, not quite able to topple the dominant team. I want their path to be the hard way. I want it to be a fight. I want them to go through the ringer. Because I feel like as they continue to grow as a team and reach peak Na'Vi, I think those stripes will benefit them. Again, that classic pacing from the squad, allowing FURIA to make their plays. Warm up for Viku. The Gabs has still found a way to cause problems. D7 always a good pick to find. Not too concerned for Na'Vi just yet, but you never know. You lose one more player, bomb not planted, chaos can ensue. Forcing Car out of position. The can opener is here. Love to see it. If you're an Na'Vi fan.
Yeah.
I like to see Hanka playing well. I'm a Hanka fan.
Yeah, she's 9-3 at the moment. I mean, she gets a multi-frag every other round. Just continues to be devastating for FURIA. Well, FURIA could be happy with they at least managed to steal one of these rifles. A little bit of a cheeky play up through mid. They couldn't get too much more done off the back of that. And realistically, we didn't expect them to. So we look to the next round to see now what are the adaptations. Because Na'Vi has done so well. Oh no, they don't even get to save that gun. Na'Vi have been doing really well at stemming the tide, at reading into FURIA and finding those openings. They're really taking advantage of the fact that there is still that T-side lean. As much as I wondered if they'd maybe pick into the CT side just for the sake of setting Viku up, Viku has managed to find a way to be insufferable even on that T side. They've slowed down their play. The pacing is immaculate and it's forcing FURIA to get antsy, to start taking space, to start poking and prodding, and they get punished for it.
Still no AWP for Car, who post Gabby I think has to be my favorite player on FURIA. Na'Vi maybe looking to change the pace here, and they will catch Luluten with a grenade in her hands, and she's going to be in trouble. But Iza is here to help. Repositioning now our FURIA may be ready to hold, although Viku continues to deliver, as does Hanka. Luluten's in the smoke. Gab's trying to do what she can, and Car finds herself in a 1 versus 2. All she needs is a slight element of surprise. Smokes all over the place can cause variance. Found an angle, but Astra found the head first, and Na'Vi moved to a 5-1 scoreline.
And things were looking doable for FURIA at the start of that. Obviously, Liliten takes a lot of damage early on, but she's able to reposition. She keeps herself alive, and we get a follow-up kill as the cross is coming in through the main archway. But it's instantly traded out by Viku, and then you've got so few of your CTs left on towards the site. And how do you maintain stability at that point? You're kind of limited in what you have to work with. You just get run over.
So we're looking at 7 rounds with no AWP for Car, which is a perfect scenario for NAVI to build and build. But FURIA are getting some kills, so NAVI could have more money in terms of winning around, pressure, and so forth, so on and so forth. But they're likely to build some here, although there is a chance they could lose this as well. There are 3 players with Kevlar. A few smokes for FURIA, so NAVI, if they play their slow game and a smoke comes in at the wrong place at the wrong time, that's a situation that FURIA could capitalize on.
What might be a bit of a concern is that while NAVI understandably have a bias for the T side, statistically, FURIA have a very strong bias for their CT side. That's where they actually get their best results. And that just has not been the case so far.
I see no smokes in the hands of these CT players now. Viku continues to deliver, which is, again, you want your AWPers landing shots because it's important for the confidence. But again, 7 rounds and no sniper rifle for Car. She'll definitely have one this round, but that's a long deficit where they haven't had their full power. But maybe now she'll show why, post-Gabby, she's my favorite player. I'm still mourning for the loss of Gabby on this squad, although it is a great squad, before and after.
And this is where Car has to start getting that value, right? I mean, you put such a heavy investment into making sure that you can get that AWP out. It's taken them 7 rounds to build up the funds to do so. So if she doesn't find value here, this half is more than likely going to completely slip out of a recoverable situation.
Oh, I love that. Walk through the smoke from Astra while the boost holds cover. Just advance way quicker, and it saves you so much utility as well. And that lack of utility is a lack of a warning, and you can see the CT to the right-hand side with a grenade in her hand, which could be trouble if Astra swings or a teammate to her left does. Viku might be going in there with the AWP, and there are alarm bells for FURIA. Forced to hop forward on the A-bomb site. Bazina's got a lot of players coming her way, but she's done more than you could reasonably expect. 2 frags could be quite important now as Gabs tries to stop the split from happening. Does Hanka dare creep through the smoke? She might have to now that Viku's been lost. Angelka is isolated. Gabs waiting for that lurker as Angelka commits to the bomb plant. Where does Angelka look? She is in all kinds of trouble. But Gabs knows that she might be as well. She could get peeked from Angelka. There's a swing from Hanka. And now it is game on. A 2-woman peek, and Angelka collects all of them. Suddenly, the advantage is lost. Lulatens takes the last one in the face from Angelka, a 4K in a dire situation, and you can see what it means for the NAVI squad.
It's the worst possible way for that round to go for FURIA. You've got to be communicating that. One swings wide, one swings close. You cannot just line up for someone like Angelka because she's going to take advantage of that. It's such an unfortunate way for FURIA to lose that round, but lose it they do. And NAVI continue to show their dominance here on a map that we weren't too sure how they were going to perform. A 6-round deficit. As NAVI continue to climb the ranks, climb the ladder. And for FURIA, as much as this isn't a favorable side in general, it's one that they excel at. And because their T side is one that they tend to be a little bit weaker at, they need all the buffer that they can get. And at the moment, it's looking like a buffer is going to be impossible.
Such a big half for NAVI. As big as a Swedish kebab pizza. This is a dangerous round. These rounds are so fascinating scientifically because how little FURIA have. They have very little, but they have just enough for chaos. running MP9s, close range 5.7s, dancing around smokes is enough for an unstructured round, which is where you can sometimes get back into things, but they are ready. You can see at the end of the last round, there's celebrations from Angelka, but the camera went to Hanka, and she is full focus. She's got 15 frags. She was racking them up, quietly racking them up in that last map, and she's doing the same here. She's focused on the task. She knows it's not done. She wants to get to that third map without any mistakes.
Speaking of, it's crazy to me that Lulutennis just dies there. Like, you're just allowing Na'Vi to contact up. We're not seeing that kind of usual ADD style strafing, constantly checking. She's just holding that angle. She's convinced somebody's going to be coming from mid. But I suppose even if she was looking the right way, let's face it, how much realistically could she have gotten done? So for FURIA, it's a save. It's holding on to the few little weapons that they have, and that's if they're going to be allowed to do so. In so many of these rounds, Na'Vis will go on the hunt. This round may be no different.
There's not much to hunt for here.
Yeah, that's
They're buying regardless, so all you can do is give them AKs, which you definitely don't want to do.
It's about sending a message, though.
yeah, you know what? I'm absolutely for that. I always want to send that message. I don't care what's going on. Na'Vi certainly do, though. They are playing an efficient game, an efficient, brutal, clinical game on Anubis. A great showing from them thus far. There will be an AWP for Ka, who is 2 for 8 at present. Dust2 VQ feels her pain in that first half, but has no desire to share it. A much more aggressive response from FURIA now. But this will be comfortable for Na'Vi. Look at their positioning. They are taking liberties. Astra finds a double. Minute 20 on the clock, 5 on 3, and they're waiting again. That pacing from Na'Vi. Big frag from D7. That's an important trade. But again, an early advantage, not 1 but 2 kills, and then they've got the space, they've got the time to wait for you to make your play, to wait for you to try and get back into the round and punish you for doing so. D7 dances with Gabs now. As Ka finds herself in a 1-on-4. Denied immediately because VQ's gonna kill you.
This is a very, very tough position to be in, and it feels like FURIA are starting to unravel a little bit. There's certainly a lack of control. We're seeing them kind of make some really strange decisions. Maybe the communication's not quite where it needs to be, but this is a perfect example of it, right? Iza has pushed all the way out into water. There's no eyes on mid, so there's no one watching her back, and she just gets killed for free.
Yeah, I don't think FURIA have figured out the approach Na'Vi have had in that mid position where they're boosting up, going through the smoke, immediately catching FURIA off guard. And again, I said, like, Na'Vi might have surprises for us. They're probably going to have some hard counters to the way FURIA like to play. I will note they've got an early frag in this round. And unfortunately for FURIA, Gabs is alone, although she is buying time. She's holding space for the CT rotation. But D7's in that position once again to cause problems. And now we find ourselves in a 3-on-3, a chaotic one, though, with the situation for FURIA. Just couldn't get the tracking there. Advantage FURIA then. A potential unlikely round. I think Astra got some sound cues of a CT falling back. Can't find the right angle, though, which leaves Viku needing a flick. As she isolates the fight in front of her, there'll be rotations to that right-hand side. Again, a round you're not going to replicate for FURIA, but every round they can scrape here at the very end of this first half will mean something going into the second.
So much of that round comes down to Gabs, though. Like, she gets that first kill onto Hanka, which in and of itself is massive. Like, you can't overstate the impact that something like that has. Then the fact that she's able to fall away and still get this second kill onto Angelika is ridiculous. The problem comes in here again in water, where the same issue happens, and worst of all, it goes untraded. That could very easily have completely slipped away from FURIA's hands, but now we find ourselves last round of the half. Car, AWP in hand. This is where that magic really does need to come alive, because they need this last round at the very, very least to give them a chance into the next half.
Doesn't get any easier for FURIA. Halftime, I think, will be a sigh of relief for them, as they have been drowning in the waters of Anubis round after round. So enjoyable to watch this pacing on the T side for NAVI. What can Bazina do then? She can dance around this pillar. Maybe there's a chance. There's a semblance of a crossfire here, actually, with Izza. That turned around real quick, but Astra will catch Car on the rotation, and with 37 seconds left, what is the play for NAVI? Viku needs to avoid an insta-trade, even if she gets a frag here. Astra's on the way as well. They don't have time to walk, so she will just race over. That's info for FURIA. Who goes first? There's Astra, and then it's down to Viku. 13 seconds. They're all huddled together. She'll never expect them all to be in the same area, looking for the trade fraggers to pop out, and it will be 3 at halftime, and only 3 on the CT side for FURIA.
FURIA have managed to net themselves the bare minimum number of rounds for me to not say it is a done deal, but they haven't found themselves out of the woods just yet. A pistol round here is the very minimum that they require for even the slightest possibility.
Oh, that was quite a 360. Trying to avoid the headshots as they make their way through. This pistol could be very crucial indeed, but it's going 50-50. Lula10's just about standing as D7 is dropped by Gabs. Tanker and Viku now, that's a great start for Viku. A pistol in each hand, plenty of ammo as they try to make a crossfire. Hasn't seen one around the back though, and now it's Hanka who will be the last one to fall. That was so needed for FURIA. Now they've got a chance to keep the score close. To make the score close.
Yeah. Such a big round for them. Keeps them going that little bit longer. Gives them a chance to fight back. For NAVI, I mean, for now, obviously still feeling comfortable. But they realize they can't allow this to snowball, right? You don't, if you're NAVI, you don't want a repeat of what happened on Dust2. You don't want to allow this to go all the way into overtime and to have to really fight tooth and nail to get yourself into that final. You want to keep it clean. You want to feel confident going into a grand final. For FURIA, they have no choice. A close game it's going to have to be if they're going to be the ones to meet Imperial later today.
Hanka 15 for 7. I imagine FURIA will be trying to catch up with her now. They have the advantage on this T side. And we'll have to focus on how long it takes Viku to pull out the AWP. No doubt they'll be buying in the next round. And they will be shy of the money for raw Panama. Viku has exactly 4750. But she's going to go for the M4 and Kevlar.
I think it makes sense to play it a little bit safer just for this kind of first round. Make sure that you've got some economy to build onto. They come out on top of this round, well, you know what, then you can put a little bit of a spend into it. But
I think it depends on the kind of fights you're going to take as well. Like if you're going to walk into an angle where you might take a bullet or two, you need that Kevlar. Four-round lead then. NAVI have the M4s out early. Will they be able to... Is that Michael Jackson? Will they be able to hold on to it? Mixed bag for FURIA with their MAC-10 and Galil. There are some freedoms associated with that. Just like Izza will show us with that MAC-10. Gets an immediate upgrade. That's good position. 4-on-4. Astra having to fall back as there is a big rotation coming through from NAVI. FURIA storming the B bomb site. Such a quick bomb plant as well. Now, there are some smoke grenades that could be used for these choke points. So this will be an interesting fight. We've got multiple flashbangs as well. This will be quite the challenge. We've seen so many fights around smokes also. They could really go either way. Bezina looking for a 2 spray down. Lula10s will be here to pick up the slack though, leaving Viku with 4 HP versus 3, and she will try to get out of there. There's nothing else for her to do. And this gap is slowly shrinking.
And Lula10's continuing to be a pivotal piece for this FURIA roster, playing that supportive role and making sure that her team has the space that they need to continue to be the demons that we know that they are. And that's such an important round for FURIA for a lot of reasons. Obviously, it gives them another score, closes that gap a little bit, gives them an opportunity to come back, but it also does some serious damage to NAVI's economy, which is going to make this reinvest that much more difficult, right? We're talking about, well, they didn't buy into the AWP in the previous round, and there's a few reasons for that. Obviously, you want to kind of build up a little bit. You want to make sure that you've got Kevlar. You want to make sure that you've got something to play with. But now, the AWP conversation has been shut down for the time being.
Swing and a miss for NAVI. FURIA absolutely ready for those classic plays through B. And that's why you sometimes see HE's Molotovs from the T side as well. It's been so common over the brief history of Anubis in CS to make those swing plays. Of course, little to lose in a round such as this. See if Hanka gets anything from this. Jiggling as we have learned it. Doesn't really make sense to stand still in CS2. Community map making it into the map pool is fantastic. Anyway, 9-7, like lightning, FURIA come through. And maybe that big lead was necessary, although we'll see the full buy very shortly indeed for NAVI. For a moment, I thought it was going to be easy versus FURIA. Clearly, I was wrong.
Well, I mean, I suppose the first map should have been the tip-off, right? As much as that first half went pretty dominantly, we swap sides, we move on to the more favored side of the map in general. And I mean, bearing in mind, I think a lot of the reason why there's this CT side bias for FURIA is because in South America, they'll pick into the map, which means they have to start CT, and they have such a strong CT side that we don't get to see much of their T side. So that creates that bias. Is not to say that they don't have a good T side.
Oh, VQ with the second one, so important there. The rifle support gets eliminated, but the no-scope is fast enough. That is so key for NAVI. No over-rotation. Everyone's calm, well placed around the map. And Astra's actually, looks like she's getting curious towards the outside of B. I don't know, it's hard to tell from the circle. Minute 10 on the clock, and VQ continues to punish. That's the VQ we were looking for early on that first map. That's the VQ that might take NAVI to a third. Lulatens won't get anything done. Rifle support came anew, and NAVI will be the first to make it to double figures.
Waiting for that AWP to come out. And that's when VQ comes alive. She had a bit of a slow start on the previous map, but in this one, she's been on fire the whole way through the map, right? Kind of toe-to-toe with the rest of the team and consistently getting value. And now that she's managed to pick up the AWP on the CT side, it's just going to continue to be a problem. FURIA needed to keep things expensive, needed to keep that gun out of her hands. Only managing to pick up a few rounds here so far on this T side hasn't been enough.
Ouch.
They needed more.
That was not an easy no-scope. It was like a flick no-scope. Maximum difficulty. And again, FURIA harassing the A-bomb site, looking to overwhelm quickly. That's exactly what they will do. How many people will NAVI throw at this? They've got some space, but Izza looks to take that away as well. In the smoke. Hanka has no idea. She is in so much trouble. Oh. That's got to be the round. They've got to call it. They've lost all position on the bomb site now. They need to keep these guns up. They need, so NAVI at this point need to have as many buy rounds as possible. That was an instant call from them. They understood what needed to be done. They can't allow FURIA to break them.
This is what I was saying about finding and isolating or avoiding the AWP entirely. Because VQ's not playing towards that side. She gets flushed out and they get the site for free. So if she's not there holding a slightly more aggressive angle, holding down a sight line that makes it impossible for you to get in onto the site, you suddenly have, like, your chances of actually getting in onto the site almost double, which is fantastic for FURIA. And of course, they take full advantage of that. What's up, Stockholm? Hope you guys are enjoying our second semi-final of the ESL Impact Season 6 finals.
It is a 6th season, I agree.
It is a 6th season, bro.
Great urgency there from the T side, charging through, cleaning out the bomb site. Such a dangerous team, FURIA.
Can't count them out. I was getting a little bit nervous, right? NAVI win that previous round, and I'm like, oh man, this is where FURIA gets stopped in their tracks, but nope. Can never be taken for granted, can never be put down. That Panther will keep coming at you.
An ancient decider would be so good between these teams. Again, how we saw them trying to outmaneuver each other on some big rounds on Dust2 with the aggression that Ancient requires, especially for CTs. It would be fascinating to see how they duel. But FURIA might not let them get that far. Establishing their map control in round 19. Look at all the mollies on the T side. They are well prepared for an execute. And wherever they decide to throw that could be quite problematic for the CTs. However, you can see what I can see. NAVI needs to drop some util here and buy time to get that rotation going. You can see Angelka's on the way. Astra's quietly made her way through. They are not shy to go for a little peek and a prod, NAVI. Mid is an unknown, but Angelka's got to take some risks to get into position for her squad. She makes her way over. Mollies to be deployed, if they can be, by the CTs. Indeed, D7's got the angle, but Hanka's caught in the open. Will they run through? Indeed, some of them will. Isolated, D7 wins her fight, and she has help here already. Angelka's been waiting. 28 HP as Bazina pulls out a nade, but she doesn't have the angle. 29 seconds to get this bomb planted. Angelka drops. More rotations coming through, though. That is a disgusting transfer from Bazina. It leaves Astra. She's got to go through the smoke. She's got to commit when those beeps go. 15 seconds to get this bomb planted. Choosing a different option. Sees the barrel of the gun, but there's more T's to deal with. That is such a big frag for Astra. Astra trying to show the gun. She's baiting the shot side if she can. She has a kit as well. 2 more T's to find, and she's got the jewel she wanted. And now it's down to Luliten's. Astra can come from multiple angles. Luliten's going deep. She's been found. That would have been a monstrous clutch. Rings the bell. 12 HP left. So tight are these rounds.
Bro, they give Astra so many ones. And there is a world in which she actually clutches that, because Luliten's is looking the wrong way, and I think maybe Astra gets a little bit nervous in that final moment, right? You see Luliten's kind of looking away, and a moment of patience could maybe net you that win, but if you take too long, then she's just going to turn around and shoot you. So there's like that slight panic of, how do I win this 1v1? And Luliten's full advantage taken and shuts down that attempt at a clutch. And that was a round that FURIA, I think, couldn't really afford to lose, given how the scoreline is going and how the economy is going. Like, it becomes so important. And again, it's Luliten's that steps up, that becomes that key piece in the FURIA puzzle.
Mega attempt from Astra in that round. To even get that far was great, but that spray transfer from Bazina was nasty. That's like a post-watershed spray down on that bomb site. Utterly menacing. And that bomb site is getting pounded by FURIA time and again. They are abusing the numbers. They're using the Molotovs really well as well. They're compromising where the CTs can stand and just sending the numbers in there. They'll trade out. Doesn't matter if people fall, as long as the next woman is in there to drop that CT. And they're using it to great effect. There is a buy in round 20 for NAVI. There is an AWP for Viku. There is a rifle for Hanka. Everybody's turned up. Now we can see Gabs lurking towards that A-bomb site. And I do wonder if they are to go to the other side, if she'll offer something. With how hard FURIA have hit A, if there's even a hint of a grenade into that A-bomb site, do they over-rotate? There's a lot of junk being thrown at B now. They've got 3 players ready and willing. That's always a strong molly. But it's not quite landed where Hanka is, so will they check this again? Yes, they will. A second molly goes, and she has to come out. She'll get barbecued with no frags for it. Just the assist for Angelka. 4 on 4, 40 seconds. Bomb getting planted. Izzy's got a strong post-plant shot. And D7's on the swing. D7 in the clutch could be exactly what NAVI need. And again, so many smokes. Car forced out, but she can see over the top at least some angles. There's a molly for Viku. She puts that in the right place, and there could be problems for FURIA. Car running distraction in the meantime. Does she know her lineups? Is
what?
Still able to get that transfer, and the last one as well. They just don't respond in time, and the score is tied.
I mean, there's got to be some sort of a miscommunication in that, or maybe just as you say, right? Like maybe just a reactionary issue. But for Izza to get all three there, and it's crazy because obviously Ka is holding the longer angle. She's like, I'm smoked off, I can't see anything. And she can't push through the smoke. So Izza does it. She's like, all right, cool. I'm going to go find the information, bait me, fish off me. Like, let's do this thing. She pushes out. She gets 3 kills for her troubles. Just an unreasonable round for FURIA to win.
Huge fight. Early advantage for NAVI. This would be a great way to get back into this game. War of attrition in the middle of the map. Bazina and Ka, Astra and Hanka. Rifles everywhere to be collected. Bomb in the hands of Ka, who has quickly made it to 10. You can see Hanka racing over as well. So many angles to check. So much time, but in that time, the CTs can be rotating everywhere. They can be going through. Oh, Hanka's managed to squeeze one more as well. Astra low, but element of surprise. Which way? Honestly, pick a card. Hope it's the right one. It might come down to who looks where. If Bazina's able to plant the bomb, that could be the worst thing for Astra. No kits. And 20 HP. The util will give her some extra steps before that bomb's planted. This is such a big round for both. This would be a huge bonus for NAVI. Bazina's looking exactly where she needs to as well. Checking the right-hand side, the timing! She goes back just in time to squeeze one more. Whew, that one was real close.
All things considered, I think she's looking pretty pleased with herself. There's definitely a bit of relief there, but she performs so well in that final moment. Must be said, way more expensive than it should have been for FURIA. NAVI come into that with 1 M4. They take an aggressive position into water, and it's just like a blow for blow, trade for trade. And FURIA lose so many weapons in that. And okay, at this point, it's not really the biggest issue. They also win the round, so they're still feeling pretty comfortable. But it's not the way that it should have gone. For NAVI, however, they're losing control. We came into this 9-3, and NAVI have only been able to pick up 1 round so far. FURIA have just steamrolled their way through this T side.
Yeah, they are abusing the T numbers really, really well, and NAVI have not had an answer to it. It was a noble effort in that round, and that would have been so good for them. Now the margin for error is basically nil. If they are to lose this round, what will they be left with? They cannot allow those thoughts to creep in. Bazina certainly brave in that last round. D7, that's such a big frag, we know it is, but Hanka is another monster for NAVI, who's able to find 2. The pendulum swings back and forth between these squads as Viku rattles off shots. Hanka's got the sound cues as she looks. Bazina denies, down to a 3-on-3. Viku's no doubt being heard. They know exactly where she is, and this is going to be a very difficult retake. Bazina's got an oppressive angle. Bomb moving in to get planted. How much can they afford to lose here? Astra going first, forcing FURIA back a little. And Molly will just kill some time. Only Angelka has a kit. If she falls in the wrong place, the wrong position, that could be curtains. They might lose everything here, NAVI. They might lose everything. Ka running distraction. Where are the other 2? We have to face the multiple, and Angelka will be the last to drop. It's match point for FURIA, and NAVI may have little to fight with in this next round.
Okay, but we've seen this before. On Dust2, we got to map point, and that's when it got taken all the way into overtime. The problem is, as you said, NAVI is not going to have a lot to work with here, so it's going to take something explosive, something unexpected, dare I say it, something a little cheesy. It's either going to be that, or it's going to be the most surgical round. The NAVI just about need a miracle at this point. And I also want to point out, like, FURIA's ability to stabilize has been phenomenal. Just taking a look at the numbers now, NAVI have won 14 opening duels, but they only have 10 rounds. So in 4 rounds, they get an opening, and FURIA are still able to stabilize, be that off the back of a multi-frag or be that off the back of a really smart play. They've consistently maintained some of that control. And if they keep that going here, it's one more round that stands between them and the grand final.
Triple FAMAS for NAVI. Angelka racing into a very aggressive position. Surely she finds some surprise here. That's quite impressive how far she's been able to get. But will she be rewarded, or do FURIA go elsewhere? It's a lot of information at the very least. It allows NAVI to focus on different angles. She's going to keep moving, it seems. Gambles have to be taken, and she's going to be the one to do it. Again, it's FURIA. Also, with that pacing, they know things are urgent for NAVI, and they're waiting out that NAVI utility as well. Bearing in mind, they don't really have a full buy in this round. They won't be able to slow down FURIA too much unless it's with their rifles. Car's in position now. Angelka not outstaying her welcome. And NAVI have to play a responsive game. They were proactive at the start, reset into normal angles, and they know what they can and can't peek. Into the fire though, Angelka is forced, and the dominoes start to fall for NAVI. So close to a third map, but FURIA are just too strong, it seems. Triple FAMAS remains for NAVI, and FURIA continue their march. Astra, last woman standing, last one to fall. The standard bearers of South America take their ticket to the final.
They have staked their claim once again, FURIA. This is such a huge statement for them because last season or rather during the regular season, they looked so strong, but last season they couldn't make it to Dallas. They were denied entry by Fluxo, so for them to have come through so strong here in Season 6 and now to be going all the way to the